The Grammys are fast approaching, but not every musician is welcome to attend.
Jay-Z won the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award at the Grammy Awards on Sunday and called out the Recording Academy for failing to recognize his wife, Beyonce, with Album of the Year. "I'm just saying, we want y'all to get it right," the Hard Knock Life rapper said. "We love y'all, at least get it close to right. Obviously, it's subjective because it's music and it's opinion based, but some things, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that," he repeated. "The most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work." Beyonce has been nominated for Album of the Year 4 times, but has lost each time she has been nominated. First to Taylor Swift, then to Beck, then to Adele, and finally to Harry Styles. She currently holds the record for the most Grammy wins in history with 32. Jay-Z went on to cheekily mock the intense emotions that Grammy losers sometimes endure. "Some of you are gonna go home tonight and you feel like you've been robbed," he said. "Some of you may get robbed. Some of you don't belong in the category. When I get nervous, I tell the truth."
Miley Cyrus has finally won a Grammy. It's about time. She won for her track Flowers in the Best Pop Solo Performance category. Flowers spent 38 weeks at the top of the Billboard Adult Contemporary chart, making it the longest running #1 hit in the chart's history. The hook of the song and just the message in general had quite a chokehold over TikTok when it first came out. My point is, the song was popular, everybody was singing it, just not last night during Miley's performance, leading to an awkward moment where Cyrus called out the silent crowd saying, "Why are you acting like you don't know this song?" Which is fair, the song is super fun, and pretty soon after, lots of people were up and dancing. Miley continued to bring the energy after she sang, started to cry, but then remembered, "I just won my first Grammy." No one was silent after that. She also received the Grammy for the Record of the Year, also for Flowers.
Beyonce. At the 2023 Grammy Awards, Beyonce was missing when it came to accept her award. Viola Davis announced the nominees and revealed that Beyonce had won. However, when the camera panned to the audience, the Break My Soul singer was not there, despite Trevor Noah, who also hosted that year's awards, saying that she was in the crowd moments earlier. After the camera couldn't find Beyonce, it panned back to the stage where 2 men were standing holding the singer's award. One of the men, one of the writers of the song, said something inaudible into the microphone before ending with, "Beyonce, thanks y'all." Trevor stepped up to the mic and told the confused audience Beyonce is on her way after being stuck in traffic. Beyonce has now equaled the award for most Grammys of all time, he added, stalling until she arrived.
SZA won her 4th Grammy yesterday for her song Snooze. It was in the Best R&B category, but she was the most nominated artist for the evening with 9 nominations. Longtime friend Lizzo got to announce the R&B win, and it was met with plenty of excitement from the audience, only SZA was nowhere to be found. She took so long to come out on stage that people started looking for her. It only took about 20 seconds for her to come out on stage, but on a stage and screen as big as the Grammys, that feels like an eternity. SZA did explain her absence during her acceptance speech. She was in the middle of a costume change and had to do a, I'm assuming, celebration shot.
Now let's talk about Milli Vanilli. In a first for the Grammys, the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences rescinded Milli Vanilli's 1990 Best New Artist Award after it was revealed that the duo did not sing at all, did not sing any of the vocals on their album All or Nothing, including their mega hit Girl You Know It's True. That is not the kind of history that any artist wants to make. I hope revoking this award will make the industry think long and hard before anybody ever tries to pull something like this again, the Recording Academy president said at the time. Seemingly, it has. If you don't know the whole story, let me recap. The German-French pop duo barnstormed through European charts with their first single, Girl You Know It's True. The song hit the US airwaves in March later that year with stratospheric impact. Their debut album sold over 8 million copies and spawned 3 #1 singles. It stayed in the top 10 for the rest of the year. Young fans, mainly women, screamed along to Rob Pilatus and Fabrice Morvan's tight choreography and blatant eye candy. All of that was overshadowed and then swept into the dustbin of pop history by disgrace. By the time Milli Vanilli accepted the Grammy Award for Best New Artist in 1990, many in the music business suspected something was afoot. That November, Farian, one of the members, revealed in a press conference that the duo never sang on any of their recordings and lip-synced their performances. Wow. Radio stations stopped playing all their songs and fans destroyed their records, as well as the Grammys rescinding their award for the only time ever in history.
A while back, The Weeknd actually decided to boycott the Grammys entirely from now on, following his highly controversial shutout from the 2021 ceremony. The Weeknd thought that he was a strong contender in the big four categories, Album of the Year especially. His LP After Hours spent 4 consecutive weeks at #1 on the Billboard's 200, but when the Grammys announced their nominations in 2020, The Weeknd was nowhere to be seen. He tweeted that the Grammys were corrupt. Many industry professionals came to his defense and actually agreed with him. People like Kid Cudi and Scooter Braun backed up his statements, and The Weeknd elaborated more on his opinion on the Grammys. In 63 years of the Grammys, only 10 black artists have won an Album of the Year. The Weeknd, who is already a 3-time Grammy winner himself, so when he was not nominated for this LP, he felt that he had been sucker punched, according to himself. Despite the snub in 2021, he was nominated in 2022 and earlier this year as well. He may return for the Grammys this year, or he might continue his personal boycott until the end of time. Probably that second one.
Our next celebrity is Nicki Minaj. In Nicki's 2012 Grammys performance, people were, let's just say, confused. Her performance of Roman's Revenge was confusing and super bizarre. For those who don't know, Roman is Nicki's British alter ego. During the first part of her performance, she was pretending to be Roman while confessing her sins to a priest. While Nicki may think her Roman character is interesting, most of the population does not. In fact, most people in the audience just assumed Roman was Nicki rapping in a British accent. She falsely assumed that people would understand the story behind her performance. Most people questioned what was happening at the time, and the performance was a lot to take in. Besides being difficult to understand, Nicki was full of manic energy and really difficult to watch. Many found the Catholic Church imagery to also be offensive, and it was obvious that she lip-synced most of her performance.
Currently, Harry Styles is receiving backlash over comments he made during his Album of the Year speech at the Grammys on Sunday. What should have been a big night for Harry after he performed his #1 single, as it was, and won his first Grammy Award, would soon be forgotten after he made some pretty serious remarks during his acceptance speech. After he won Album of the Year, reacting to Harry's win, he said, "I've been so inspired by every artist in this category with me at a lot of different times in my life. I think on nights like tonight, it's so important to remember that there's no nights like tonight. It's so important to remember that there's no such thing as best in music. This is really, really kind. I'm so grateful that this doesn't happen to people like me very often. This is so nice, thank you." While fans were quick to congratulate Harry, others decided to point out that there were issues with Harry claiming that this doesn't happen to people like him very often, because for years, white men like Harry have always been given preferential treatment at the award shows like the Grammys, and this year, he was up against artists who have been historically shut out of those awards for years.
Bebe Rexha was nominated this year with David Guetta in the pop dance recording category for their collab One in a Million. Bebe is known on her own for party anthems like Me, Myself and I and In the Name of Love, but did you know about her extensive opera training? If you didn't, you probably found out last night in the middle of her red carpet interview with Laverne Cox. The pair started out with the average red carpet talking points, the songs and the glam, but towards the end of the interview, Laverne brought up a past time the pair had met when Bebe revealed she wanted people to get to know the real her. She also brought up the fact that Bebe is a talented opera singer, asking her to share something about herself singing if she wants. And she did! The two of them were having a lot of fun, but for the viewers at home and on the side of the screen, there was a bit of confusion as to why a high C was suddenly being heard. Plus, singing with no music, unprepared, is always an awkward experience. Although, if this were going to happen on any red carpet, it would be the Grammys.
Next up, we have Billy Joel. When Frank Sinatra was honored at the 1994 Grammys with the Legend Award, his speech seemed to go on and on. But no one expected the broadcast to cut him off mid-sentence and immediately go to commercial. Later, during the ceremony, Billy Joel took a stand. He stopped his performance of River of Dreams intentionally to waste commercial time, saying, "Valuable advertising time going by. Dollars, dollars, dollars." He smirked and carried on.
Just a few days ago, UMG Studios announced that it would be pulling all of their artists' music from the popular social media app TikTok, prompting disappointments from fans worldwide. This would include songs from people like Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, Harry Styles, and Drake. UMG announced that the reasoning for that was TikTok wasn't providing adequate compensation for the use of the music. This year's host, Trevor Noah, he did not shy away from the situation. He called it out, saying, "TikTok, shame on you for ripping off all these artists. That's Spotify's job." Spotify was minding their business, but I guess no one is safe. Spotify did have a similar controversy a few years ago, but there is a new policy being put in place this year that no one is a fan of. The change is that if an artist receives less than 1,000 streams, they won't be compensated at all. For reference, Spotify pays artists about 0.003 to 0.005 of a cent per stream. That's only about $3 for 999 streams. Maybe they did deserve the call out.
Next up, we have 21 Pilots. Upon receiving their Grammy for Best Pop Duo Performance for the song Stressed Out at the 2017 Grammys, 21 Pilots walked up on stage to accept the award in their underwear. According to the band, it was fulfilling an old promise that they made to each other to accept their first Grammy in their underwear. Host James Corden followed suit, introducing Ed Sheeran later that night in his boxer briefs as he explained to the audience, "I always told myself that if I ever hosted the Grammys, I would also do it in my underwear." 21 Pilots have had their fair share of controversy. In 2020, Tyler Joseph issued an apology after making a joke about using his platforms, which many of his followers deemed insensitive. He took to Twitter to share 2 photos of himself wearing a pair of white shoes, captioning the post, "You guys keep asking me to use my platforms. Feels good to dust these bad boys off." The joke was perceived to be a response to many of the singer's fans who have urged him to use his status and large following to raise awareness of the Black Lives Matter movement and other social issues. "Human rights aren't a joke, but okay," one fan replied. Another commented, "No, that's actually not what we mean. We would like you to speak up on the injustice in this country." A third follower labeled the post, quote, "really tone deaf and insensitive," adding, "You've been known to not like to talk about politics, but are human rights really that political? No, they are not."
Chris Brown isn't a happy camper after finding out that he lost out on Best R&B Album of the Year to pianist Robert Glasper at the 65th Grammy Awards on Sunday. Voicing his anger over his loss, Chris would head over to his Instagram to fire shots at Robert in a series of stories posted to Chris's account. In one post, Chris would say, "Y'all playing, who the F is this?" alongside a picture of Glasper with several crying laughing emojis. And he didn't stop bashing Robert there, as he then went on to say, "Who the F is Robert Glasper? I'ma keep kicking y'all ass. Respectfully." Robert, who has written and produced albums for hitmakers including Kendrick Lamar and Mac Miller, has received 12 nods across 8 categories throughout his entire musical career. Chris wrapping up his roasting session against Glasper would prove that he's just a sore loser when he said, "I gotta get my skills up, I'ma start playing the harmonica." The internet would then start to call out Chris Brown, and one person on the internet even pointed out Chris Brown having no idea who Robert Glasper is and proceeding to come for him perfectly explains why his music hasn't grown or matured in the last 15 years. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget.
Casey Musgraves was nominated in 2 categories last night, Best Country Song and Best Country Duo/Group Performance, for the song I Remember Everything, winning the latter. She had the opportunity to present an award this year. Unfortunately, the new winner almost didn't hear their name. Casey was standing so far back from the mic that the audience and at-home viewers had to strain to hear her. She did correct her mistake in time to announce the winner, eventually moving further forwards to actually announce the name. There was a bit of awkward silence as everyone tried to hear exactly what was going on beforehand though.
Next up, we have Kanye West. At the 2015 Grammys, Kanye nearly went on stage after Beck won Album of the Year. Everybody thought he was joking, maybe making a reference to his infamous 2009 VMAs moment when he jumped on stage and told Taylor Swift that she didn't deserve her award. But this time, he wasn't joking. Although he didn't take the mic this time around, he shared his thoughts on Beck's win after the show, saying, quote, "All I know is if the Grammys want real artists to keep coming back, they need to stop playing with us. We ain't gonna play with them no more. Beck needs to respect artistry and he should have given his award to Beyonce. And at this point, we're tired of it," Kanye said, with his wife Kim K at his side. He continued, "Because what happens is when you keep on diminishing art and not respecting the craft and smacking people in the face after they deliver monumental feats of music, "You're disrespectful to inspiration, and we as musicians have to inspire people who go to work every day and they listen to that Beyonce album and they feel like it takes them to another place."
Both Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake were under fire after a planned costume reveal during the Super Bowl halftime show didn't go exactly the way they thought it would, after Justin accidentally ripped Jackson's costume and revealed her chest on camera. Just weeks later, both Timberlake and Jackson were asked not to attend the Grammys unless they agreed to apologize on stage. Jackson had been part of a planned tribute to Luther Vandross, while Justin had been nominated for several awards and was also scheduled to perform. Justin ultimately went on to apologize, however, Miss Jackson declined the invitation, so as a result, Jackson ended up being cut from the tribute, while Justin went on to take home an Album of the Year and Best Vocal Pop Album. During his speech, he also decided to bring up the event again, maybe to embarrass Janet, when he apologized for offending his fans in the Academy.
Probably the most awkward moment of all happened after someone left the Grammy stage. Rapper Killer Mike won 3 Grammys last night for Best Rap Song, Best Rap Performance, and Best Rap Album for his 2023 album, Michael. However, what should have been a celebratory evening turned sour when he was seen leaving the event in handcuffs. A social media post from the LAPD said the reason the rapper was taken into custody was because he got into a physical altercation that occurred at the 700 block of Chick Hearn Court. Allegedly, he got physical with a security guard that was not moving fast enough for Killer Mike's liking. No other details have been released yet.
Next up, we have Taylor Swift. Now, Taylor has had over a decade of going to the Grammys, so let's talk about 2 awkward moments. First up is more recent. At this year's Grammys, Celine Dion presented the award for Album of the Year to Taylor Swift. This was a huge moment for Celine, as this is her first public event since the announcement of her illness, stiff person's syndrome. You'd think Taylor would respect the person giving her the award, but no. Taylor got on stage, hugged every single person on there except for Celine Dion. She also didn't make eye contact with her while taking the award. Yikes. I guess there's unknown beef between the 2 megastars. Next, we have the famous red carpet interview from the 2015 Grammy Awards. To refresh your memory, the exchange unfolded while Swift spoke with Entertainment Tonight reporter Nancy O'Dell about her dress. Things took an awkward turn when O'Dell insinuated about her much talked about dating life. As the camera does a full take on Taylor's dress, the reporter says, quote, "I just wanted to show the legs, because as I was telling you ahead of time, you're going to walk home with more than maybe just a trophy tonight. I think lots of men." The singer appears to shoot O'Dell a death stare before replying, "No, I'm not gonna walk home with any men tonight. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends and then I go home to the cats."
He actually made sure that everyone knew that he doesn't actually care for the Grammys and doesn't believe that the awards show, which was once the highest form of recognition, has remained relevant to the artists who are thought to be deserving of it. He wrote on Instagram that he thinks we should stop allowing ourselves to be shocked every year by the disconnect between impactful music and these awards, and just accept that what was once the highest form of recognition may no longer matter to the artists that exist now and the ones that will come after. He encouraged fans, saying that now is the time to try something new and that you can build it up over time and pass it along to the next generation. Drake has been nominated for a few awards in his career and has won 4 Grammys in various categories, but Drake is more than likely welcome to attend the ceremony, but if they snub The Weeknd again, he might just chill with him instead. Sounds like a fun time, wonder what they get up to.
Next, we have Trevor Noah. As host of the 2024 Grammys, Trevor had a lot to say. As the music industry continues making sense of music by UMG artists being removed from TikTok earlier this week, on Sunday night during the Grammy Awards, host Trevor Noah called out TikTok during his opening monologue. "Shame on you, TikTok, for ripping off artists. That's Spotify's job," he says. Wow. Nice and honest. I like it.
So it's clear that the Grammys never hurt Will's career. However, I think it's still worth mentioning that Will Smith boycotted the Grammys back in 1989 after he and his musical partner, DJ Jazzy Jeff, boycotted the Grammy Awards after learning that the presentation of the award for the new category at the time of Best Rap Performance wouldn't be televised. Smith and Jeff were nominated and ultimately won the Grammy for "Parents Just Don't Understand." Smith then, in an interview with Entertainment Entertainment Tonight would say, "We don't have a problem with the Grammys as an award or the Grammys as an institution. We just had a problem with the 1989 design of the award show. We chose to boycott. We feel that it's a slap in the face." He then told the LA Times after winning he was more than happy to accept it, before adding that he wasn't happy as he could have been, as the presentation was not televised and distracted him from the excitement of the award. Now, it's no lie that Will Smith will boycott shows that he sees problems with, and the Grammys have clearly not changed since.